Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial I will be showing you how to make a very beginner friendly amigurumi ball. This will include how to make a magic ring and how to increase and decrease using single crochets. So let's get started. For this tutorial I will be using I Love This Yarn brand in the color Key Lime. This is a weight 4 acrylic yarn. And for our materials we will be using polyfill stuffing, a yarn needle. I use a 5.5mm crochet hook, stitch marker, and scissors. The first step when learning to make amigurumi is to make a magic ring. I begin by wrapping the yarn around 3 of my fingers, making sure to make an X on the back side of my fingers, holding the yarn in place with my pinky finger. First I take my hook underneath and grab that yarn and pull it back and twist it. Then I grab that yarn that I'm still holding with my pinky and pull it through the loop on my hook. At this point you will have a loop and also a short yarn tail. Now we will be making 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So we take our hook into the loop, grab the yarn, pull it through, then yarn over, and then pull that through both loops on your hook. And that makes your first single crochet. Now we will repeat that again by going back into the big loop and pulling the yarn through, yarning over, and pulling through both loops on the hook. This makes your second single crochet. We'll repeat this process until you get 6 single crochets in your magic ring. So that was the third, that's 4, 5, and 6. When you turn your work sideways, you will see a V-shape pattern forming. Each V is 1 single crochet. So from here, we are going to grab that short yarn tail and pull it, which is going to pull the magic ring closed. And this completes round 1. To begin round 2, you want to locate the V shapes that are on the side. You will now be putting your hook under the V shape. And then we grab that yarn over our hook and pull it back through underneath. Yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. This is an increase that we were working on, so we are going to go back under that same V stitch, pull the yarn through again, yarn over, and pull through. So now you have 2 single crochets underneath the same stitch. This is how we make an increase. The entire round 2 is going to be all increases. I place my stitch marker in the first stitch that I did of round 2. And now we move on to the second V stitch, and we are going to make 2 single crochets underneath that one, which is going to make another increase. So from here we are going to just keep continuing that same pattern, 2 single crochets under each of the V stitch that you see on the side. So when we reach the end of round 2 and you're back at your stitch marker, you will be able to count 12 V stitches around the side of your work. We make increase stitches to increase the size of the ball. The more we keep doing rounds with increases, the wider the ball is going to keep getting. So as we approach the end of round 2, you can already see the work is starting to get wider. Sometimes the magic ring starts to slip back open again. You can always pull that yarn tail and reclose it back up. So this is the end of round 2. You can check the outer edge of your work to make sure the stitches are forming a V, and make sure there are 12 of them. So now we are on round 3. We are going to be making 1 single crochet and then 1 increase. And we will repeat this around for the entire round 3. So there's your first single crochet. I go ahead and put my stitch marker back in to mark the beginning of round 3. And then I move on to the next stitch and make an increase. Just 2 single crochets under the same stitch. I repeat this pattern all the way around, doing one single crochet and one increase all the way to the end of round 3, which will be back at my stitch marker again. At the end of this, you should be able to count 18 V stitches around the side of your work. So now we are on round 4. We are going to make 2 single crochets and then 1 increase. So there's our first single crochet. I go ahead and mark the beginning of round 4 with my stitch marker. And then we make our second single crochet. And then we do an increase. Just 2 single crochets under the same stitch. And we repeat this pattern all the way back to the end of the stitch marker. At the end of this round, you should be able to count 24 stitches. So at this point, we are now done with round 4. This is how wide we are going to be making the ball. So now we are on round 5. We are just going to make 24 single crochets. That's just 1 single crochet in each of the V stitches. And rounds 5, 6, and 7 are all going to be the same. Since we have already reached the maximum width that we want on the ball, we are now going to be working on the length. Rounds 5 through 7 are all going to be the exact same thing, 24 single crochets. Remember to always put your stitch marker at the beginning of each round. So now we are on round 6. Again, it is just 24 single crochets. This round will also be assisted by Pogo the cat. This yarn ball is probably going to end up as one of his cat toys, so he can lend a hand in making it. Pogo will now be running his quality control checks on the yarn. And now he is stealing my yarn, so his assistance is no longer needed. With round 7 just being a repeat of 5 and 6, you can go ahead and pause the video here until you have completed the end of round 7. Now we are on round 8. This is where we will start to be using decreases. So round 8 is going to be 2 single crochets and then 1 decrease. So we do a single crochet like normal. Go ahead and mark the beginning of round 8. And then we do a second single crochet. And then we begin a decrease, which is just to grab the front loop of one stitch, grab the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through both of the loops, and then pull through the loops on the hook. And that completes the decrease. You have now basically taken 2 single crochets from the previous round and made them 1 stitch. You will repeat this sequence for all of round 8, 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. And at the end of round 8, you should be able to count 18 stitches. So now we are on round 9. It's going to be 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. That's going to be repeated for all of round 9. At the end of round 9, you will have 12 stitches. Once you have completed round 9, we will now be adding the stuffing. And now we are ready to complete our last round, round 10. It's just going to be 6 decreases. At the end of this round, we will have 6 total stitches. So we will finish off, which is just to yarn over your hook, pull the loop through, and just keep pulling until you have a long yarn tail. We will then cut the yarn, and then you can tighten the knot that formed. To close up the ball, we are now going to be threading the yarn needle onto the long yarn tail. And then we are going to be going through and grabbing the front loop of each of the last 6 stitches that we did and pull it tight as we go. This is going to close up that hole. I will usually go in now and make a knot just to further secure that. And now you can weave in that yarn tail. I usually go through once and then I will go through once again. That now completes the ball. Learning to make the magic ring, the increases and the decreases will help you master any of the amigurumi style crochet projects you'd like to do in the future. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials.